Hello everyone, this is Andrew. Welcome to show number 6, The Inner Flame, Ascension Symptoms, The Peacekeeper Show.
You're listening to The Inner Flame with my dad, Andrew Jones. Dad, feels weird calling you Andrew Jones. Dad, you know all this talk about your soul and the spirit? Well, do you know anything about boys? That's my dad.
That's my dad.
That's my 2012. It's a heck of a time to be alive.
Wow, look at that. How long has it been? Months and months and months. I'm so sorry for not keeping up with the old podcasts. Life has kind of kicked in and taken off. And I'll tell you, it feels as though it was only yesterday that I had a thought to myself that, possibly what I should do is put together a little podcast, put my site together, and aim for things bigger and better down the road. And it seems as though down the road is literally here, and you guys have not been kept abreast of everything that's been happening. So I'm going to do my best over the course of the next so many minutes. I'm not sure how long this is going to be, but lots have happened, and new things, really big things are in the works this very moment as I talk. And I don't want to let go of the podcast because I love doing the podcasts and I love reaching out. I'm not sure how much of a spiritual show this will be, as more of a recap of the history of the last months as I've come into this certain time in my life where things just seem to be starting to become cohesive and taking form. So I'm not sure when, but I think a podcast or two ago, what I did was I told you about a psychic that I met in Wayne, New Jersey. I went to a health fair, and when we were there, I had a very impromptu reading. And this was from Psychic Lisa Ann. And you can reach her website at psychiclisaann.com. Actually, I'm going to check that right now as I talk because I'd rather get it right. Psychic Lisa Ann. That's PSYCHIC, then Lisa, LISA, then Ann, ANN.com. And just a very short introduction. It says, let me turn off this Wi-Fi. It says, "Welcome to my world. I am an internationally known psychic medium, intuitive healer, certified past life regressionist, certified holistic life coach, intuitive business consultant, certified Reiki master, and ordained minister, author, TV host, and speaker." So with all of that under her belt, actually bumped into Lisa Ann months back, maybe about 4 months ago now. And at a hotel in Wayne, I had a very impromptu, I was one of the 50 or 60 people that were in the crowd. She came up to me and did a reading, and she told me things that only I knew. She told me things that only I kind of secretly thought in secret, as secret would denote, or as secret would imply. So, I wasn't really thinking too much along my music or audio career path, but she told me that that was going to be something that I would pursue, and then through that would lead to something, and then that would lead to something else. Not long after, what I did was arranged to go and visit Psychic Lisa Ann, and she read my cards once more. Actually, for the first time she read my cards. The very first time I met her, she pretty much read me on the spot. She just took my hands, and that was it. That's all that was needed. Just my name, and she told me everything, and she told me stuff only I knew. So what I decided to do was to take what was seen and to run with it and to follow that path and to see what would unfold. I now find myself in a place that I cannot tell you exactly what's going on right now, because we are making ready the website. We are firming up plans. We're actually meeting up, three of us, we're all meeting up this Thursday, and we're going to go over some of the finer details about, what's going to happen and how we can tell you, when we can tell you, about everything that's coming up. But what I can tell you is there might be a possibility that we're going to be in a town near you. And it's all very exciting, because I'm not quite sure, where all of this is going to go, but it's definitely going somewhere. So, it's just one of the more exciting times of my life, because it's all new and unfolding at this very moment. Two fantastic people that I want to introduce, but I won't right yet. I'm going to wait for the meeting on Thursday and firm up a few more details before I can tell you. But what I can say is that within these last 4 months, everything has kind of come into shape and into form. Those secret thoughts and daydreams that I've had pretty much throughout my life seem to have been slowly doing their magic, working their magic in the background all along, and now things are falling into place in a beautiful sequence of events. So the downfall of me not having kept up with the podcasts, because literally just life was kicking my butt left and right, and I wasn't able to keep up with all the social aspects. I have the Facebook page. I have the two new websites. One is my own personal website, which is INNERFLA.M for mother, E for Edward, and so it's Inner Flame. It spells out, and the other website that I can't tell you about right yet because we have some tweaking to do, and then I actually have another website which is going to be a random acts of kindness website, where you will be able to buy, you'll be able to spend like $1 or $5, and then you will receive by mail items that will help you to create random acts of kindness for unsuspecting individuals. Or you can choose someone that you wish to help or be there for secretly, a little bit like a secret Santa, but with acts of kindness, and they won't know who you are. At least that's the intention. So one of the aspects will be a domain that I have purchased, and it's called it's the Urban Code Project. Sorry, I had to think to myself. Plus then, as I was thinking, I heard the cats scrambling for their lives downstairs. Why, I'm not sure. I'll have to go down in a minute. And that reminds me of a completely different story, so I'll have to tell you about that in a minute. So the Urban Soul Project is where you would go around and on your journey, be it at the bus stop, the train station, on a fire hydrant, on a lamppost, wherever it might be, you would place a weather safe QR code, which is like one of those barcodes, but in the new configuration is like a squares with lots of little squares, dots, that makes up the matrix. And then when you scan it with your iPhone or your smartphone, your Droid, whatever, with the software, it will either show you text, or it will show you an image, or it will take you to a web page. And what this will be is very much like you know on Facebook where you have the image and then you have a text, uplifting text with a beautiful image. Well, it'd be like that. And the thought behind it is slowly, bit by bit, those people, it will become known, and so as people see this, they would know what they are, but they would be small enough that they would not become a menace to society. and I'll place like guidelines on the website where to use, so you're not like vandalizing stuff by putting these little stickers. But maybe they're like 3/4 inch square stickers, and you scan them with your phone, and it will show you an image or some text, or like a fortune cookie type, reading, perhaps. And I'm running with the theory that in times of hardship, or in times that you just need a shoulder, you need a helping hand, you need guidance, you might need a little nudge from the universe, that you might possibly stumble across one of these codes, and then when you scan it, you would receive a little bit of information that might be very synchronistic to your cause, or to your plight, or to your path in life, or to your fears, your worries, and it would hit you at just the right moment. I'm guessing, and actually I would put money on it, that just like when you ask a question, you pick up a book, and that old thing where you pick up a book, you ask a question, and you let the book kind of either fall open where it may, or you just choose a page number and then go to that page number. And then on that page, or within the first paragraph, you will find the answer. A little bit like a poor man's fortune teller's type thing. I believe fate and the universe will work in unison into showing you the messages that you're meant to be getting right now. So by you placing these beautiful QR codes, and sometimes there'll be little inconspicuous stickers with a saying on it, so you don't need the phone, you don't need an app, so that when people read them, maybe it will say something like, smile, it's not all that bad, just know someone out there loves you. It might be something like that, just when you read a message like that, and you're needing to hear a message like that, what more beautiful gift could you ask for? So I'm trusting that fate and the universe will bring you into alignment with what you need to see when you need to see it. And the Urban Soul Project is one of the things I want to get off the ground this year. So I'm looking into doing all of that.
Facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame.
Welcome to The Inner Flame, a podcast about what drives you, about the spiritual journey and the truth that rings true in your heart. Let's take a walk together and grow together. We will talk and kick about the ideas and concepts, allowing you to come to your own conclusions. No shouting, we are all equal here. Getting back to the cats momentarily. Not too long ago, around Christmas, I had my daughter here, and she was in the kitchen, and she was making cookies. And the next thing you know, she's looking around, and she's looking back at me with kind of like the hairs on the back of her neck standing up. Excuse me. And she's a little bit shocked, and she says, "Whoa, Dad, I just saw a man walk up the stairs, and it was like a black shadow, but it was a man, and he was tall." And she was kind of totally freaked out as she saw this being walk up the stairs, this entity walk up the stairs. Well, it just so happens that I had not realised, but the cats have not been sleeping upstairs on the landing. So I wasn't sure what was going on. And I wasn't really sure what to do at the time. But what happened was, that evening I was sat on the couch, and the next thing you know, something draws my attention towards the bottom of the stairs. And I look over, and sure enough, I see a figure darting back as though it had just been seen, and it's trying to just not be seen. So I kind of freaked out a little bit because it was a bit scary. And I told I told my girlfriend Dee and Emma, and it was pretty much at this point I decided that I needed to do something. But the one thing that finally did it for me was Felicity, our heaviest cat. She was up on her cat perch and she was looking. I mean, it was almost like she was looking at something's head. And what she was looking at was at the bottom of the stairs, which was completely across 2 rooms and off to the left. So this thing was moving left to right, and it was moving through the walls, and the Felicity's head would follow this thing with her eyes. And then what she did is she's a bit of a fearless cat. She's a big cat and she's a bit boisterous, but she's a little bit fearless, but she's also timid in her fearlessness. Like if she's scared of you, she will come up timidly to check you out. So I watched her, and she climbed down, all the while still watching the spot, and then she stood about 8 feet away from the bottom of the stairs between the downstairs basement doorway. So she was then in a vantage point where she could see down the stairs, but she could also see the bottom of the stairs on the first floor. So she watched something, and then she watched it move into the kitchen, and then it came back to the bottom of the stairs, and then it went back into the kitchen, went to the bottom of the stairs on the first floor. It went through the floor and the wall, and Felicity's head, I mean, you could tell from her actions, whatever it was, went through the wall, and then she kind of darted to the left to look on the other side of the wall, and then went partially downstairs, as obviously something had just passed. If you had been there and you would have seen it, I mean, this is the one thing that freaks me out more than seeing the entity itself dart back. So it was at that point I decided to go with my daughter, and we went to a magic and mystical store in Pompton Lakes. I forget the name of it. So we went to the one in Pompton Lakes on the main street, and went in there, and we bought some sage smudging sticks. I'm not sure if they call them sticks. And at a later point, I smudged the entire house while saying a small prayer throughout each and every room. And I had not noticed, like I said before, that the cats had not been going upstairs. So the very next day after I had smudged, all 3 cats were upstairs again. They were all laying peacefully upstairs. The air here has been completely different. The cats are no longer following anything around the house. Very freaky, very, very cool though. And I kind of realized about a year ago that I'd actually asked for, or a couple of years ago, I actually asked for something to happen. Many years ago, I basically said to the universe, you know, look, I know ghosts are out there, I know entities are out there. I'd been through a bit of a scary incident at my uncle's house in Pensford, in Bristol, and or near Bristol, and I was scared so badly there by something that was upstairs that I kind of, on several occasions when I move into like new homes, new apartments and houses, I always say, look, I know you're here, leave me alone. And I think I've done this so many times that I'd shut a door. So what I've been doing as of about 2 years ago is I said, look, you know you're out there. I acknowledge that you are there. I don't want to hide away from whatever it is anymore, and I'm very willing and open to receiving messages, to hearing from you, to helping you if I can, and to to maybe be eventually a go-between, like a psychic medium and what have you. So, yeah, long story short, things have been happening. They've absolutely been happening, but more so around like the 12/21 2012 breakdown. So around that date, obviously, about a year ago, I was kind of freaking out a little bit. You know, what's going to happen? Where should I go? Should I even be like in New Jersey? And what happened is just through talking and through interacting and learning and listening to myself, really, listening to my heart, is just realizing that nothing bad was going to happen. That yes, this was a time of change, a time of transformation, but it wasn't going to be something that was going to be detrimental to my health or my life. In fact, it's been quite the opposite. A few months before December 21st, 2012, something very cool started to happen. I started seeing objects and things when I closed my eyes, when I lay down at night. Very clear. Not like when someone says, imagine a tree, and in your mind you picture a tree. Nothing like that. It's as though I was standing in front of you and I showed you a coffee cup and you had no idea I was going to hold up a coffee cup. And it's not perfect vision. It's a little bit like black and white, and it's a little bit like it's embossed in some way, like monotone. But it was the other day I actually saw a color. I actually saw a molten metal mask partially covering parts of my face. Just so cool. Just, it's not scary in any way. I'm always looking, okay, what does this mean? The symbology of it. They've been getting more and more elaborate, but I must say that over the last 2 weeks, I've not seen anything impressive. Maybe I've got the message that I need to get for now. It all seems to be change. I saw animal head change into a lion's head. I've been seeing a lot of transforming heads and faces, which I've got my own understanding from. Yeah, and I'm just picking up on stuff in general. The other day I was reading, let's see, how did it start? I was watching TV and at night, no, I was watching a show with Dee. It was Doctor Who. So I was watching Doctor Who, and one of the characters is called River Song. Now, for whatever reason, I knew her name was River Song, but something in me was saying River Phoenix. Now, obviously, I know who River Phoenix was. But it was bugging me. It was almost like something wasn't right, that it needed to be River Phoenix. But I couldn't put my finger on exactly why it needed to be that. So I let go, but it still bugged me. Then the next morning, I'm watching TV, and I look down at the news bar at the bottom of the television screen, and it said River something something something. Then it said Phoenix. It didn't say River Phoenix. It was River Phoenix, but it was broken up. So I thought that was weird, but I let it go, because what am I going to do with that? So then I clicked the channel up, one channel, and I saw a movie, and I thought, maybe I'll watch a little bit of this as I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. So I just pressed for info, and the very first name on the screen said River Phoenix. So I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So, but by this time, I'm really quite intrigued, what's going on. So the next day, I stop at a fast food chain, which I have not done for so many months. I'm starving, and I just had to get something inside of me. I thought, you know what, let me listen to a little bit of my audiobook. So I plug in the audiobook, I plug the headphone jack in, and I press play. And the very first word, I had the volume up a little bit too much, the very first word that rung out in the car, loud and clear, was Phoenix. It was like a slap in the face, literally. I was so beside myself with, what the heck does this mean? So obviously I know what Phoenix means. I know, the symbology of that and what it could mean in my life. And that is absolutely what is happening in my life. I am changing. This is my year. It's the year of the snake. My favorite bird is the owl. One of my symbols is the dragon. So a bird with fire would be phoenix. I've always had a connection to the phoenix ever since very young. It's always grabbed my attention, but it's never done anything like this in my life where it's made itself known to me in a very, clear way. That's what's been happening a bit as of late. I'm sorry that I wasn't here for December 21st 2012. That would have been a good podcast. I've missed some good times, Christmas, New Year's, the holidays in general, but so here I am. This is the next show. So the very next show is going to be very interesting, so stay tuned. Hello, this is Andrew. I'm trying to expand the show. One way I thought I could do that is by offering a phone service whereby you can call up, leave a message, leave a prayer request, thank you to someone, whatever it may be. If you want to interact on past shows, maybe give your point of view about something, or even request what we talk about in future shows. It's really up to you. I'm not completely sure how long the message will record for at this point. I guess I should have done that before I recorded this. I just want to put the number out there, and it's a US number, area code 862 200 7734. That's area code 862 200 7734. Also, come join us on our Facebook page. It's actually a group, not a page, but technically it's a page as well, I guess, right? So it's www.facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame. Thank you so much for listening, and I really
just
hope to hear
actually
from you
came
soon.
back from making a nice cup of coffee. If you only knew the trials and tribulations I have gone through, the efforts that we have gone through in this household to try and make a decent, regular cup of coffee. I don't ask for much. So we've gone through all these different coffee makers, and after all was said and done, we ended up with a Keurig. So I do like to just pop something in, press a button, the coffee's made. I know that's a far cry from years ago. I did grow up all my life drinking instant coffee, the Nescafe instant granules. But I've migrated. I've grown up from that, and I now use the Keurig. Although the Keurig is nice, I'm sure it's not the coffee connoisseur's way to create a beautiful cup of coffee. But as long as it's a standard coffee, as long as it's something I can enjoy, then I'm a happy man. So I just went down, I made a cup. I'm not sure how many I've had today. It might be 3, it might be 4. I'm trying to cut back to like 2 or 3. If I get down to 2, that'd be fantastic. But I've got a feeling I'm speaking a little bit faster tonight, which may cause some people some issues with trying to keep up with what I'm saying. So it seems like from podcast number 1 to now that a tremendous amount of stuff has changed. So much has taken place. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but the Facebook group page that I created, the Inner Flame Ascension Symptom Support Group, the Peacekeepers, has been probably the key role in my life this past year for making some of the biggest changes. And I put that down to the very fact that I am not pretending to be someone I'm not. I'm not putting on an act. I'm not putting on a face, a show. I'm just being me. I'm sending out love. I'm sending out peace. I'm sending out happiness, joy, I'm helping wherever I can. And I think just for those very few things, just that when you're able to express, it's a good thing. It just allows the rest of you to flow. It unlocks your potential, really, and allows the real you to do the real work, the real magic, that the universe can flow through you, and that many would say that God can flow through you. And as I've stated before, yeah, I do rebel just a little bit against the word God, only because of society, really, and where society takes it. So many wars, so many fights, so many arguments over such a simple, beautiful word. Yet that word, in my opinion, is so small, is so non-descriptive of something that is all-encompassing, far beyond, I think, the ways that we are even able to with our puny little minds. But saying that, I think we are all capable of the greatness of the universe, of God. I think we're all kind of gifted with it, and it's up to us to discover that within us, to become those angels on earth, so to speak, living as if you were an angel on earth. So, I do recommend that if you haven't, please join up the group, facebook.com/groups/the inner flame. I believe that's what it is. It's been a while since I've looked at the address bar.
Meanwhile, somewhere out there in the world, why is life so tough? I can't take much more of this.
Hey, over here, listen to me. Sometimes the stars and planets align, bringing into focus all those little synchronicities. Sometimes it seems like chaos is all around, when really it's just order falling into place. When life seems upside down, give it a moment to settle. It will turn right side up. Amidst all of this, remember you are never given more than you can handle. When you find yourself in a moment of joy and happiness, cherish it, hold it in your heart, and send that feeling, that emotion, to someone that deserves it. By doing this, you will help slowly change the world, one heart, one smile at a time. This is my prayer, my request, my gift to you.
So what's going on? So it went from me really wanting to express, from me really wanting to be real, um, and it's turned into, me wanting to travel all over the US to talk about the message that I have to say, and my story, and how it's possible to change even during and in adversity. And I've sat down and thought about it very seriously over the last, my lifetime, since the age of about 20 to now, which is about 27 years. What made me me? What made me change from just a typical guy, um, very ego driven, very, I'm better than you, very, all that other quote unquote real world stuff that kids go through. How did I evolve from that into what I see myself now? Not a finished project. I'm not a finished work of piece of work by any stretch of the means. But I do love where I am right now. I remember looking back in the mirror when I was about 20 years of age, and I didn't like what I saw. Not the physical outer shell, but more what I was like as a person, you know? Is a little bit like where possibly, maybe, I don't know, where my son sees himself right now. He may look in the mirror. I did when I was 20. I looked in the mirror and I just didn't like where I was. I couldn't quite put my finger on it even what it was. Some of the things were, I was crafty. I would do stuff I wouldn't be proud of. Not really breaking the law. I didn't consider myself a really nice person back then. So I decided that I would change, that I needed to change because I didn't like what I saw. And I think it began with that, really, just not liking what I saw. And it still ebbs and flows. Again, there's still some give and take, you know. There's still moments where I wish I didn't do certain things, didn't say certain things. I haven't reached that state of perfection by any means, but I am working on it, truly. And I do see and realize and understand what it takes. And I've very much been walking my talk. So I've come up with a list of 12 things. I've said this before, I'll say it again, but many people break it down to one thing. It needs to be all about love. It needs to be all about love. And I have a problem with that because got hiccups again. Or maybe they're the same hiccups. For some people, depending on their understanding of life, of love, of the world, the universe, of the various types of love, if you tell them it's all about love, it's very simplistic and it doesn't break down into the myriad of complexities that underlie such a word. And so what I've done is I've broken down that one thing into 12. And love is still one of the aspects. I think love is number 9. But for example, let me look at the list. Number 1 is health, exercise, nutrition. So it's more about looking after your body. That's the very basic foundation of it all. Look after your brain and your body. Number 2 is feed the mind. Learn, read, watch, listen. So it's really about feeding the brain to be open. Number 3 is be present. The power, as they say, of now, this very moment, which there is nothing else. And some people can live their entire life on that third element that I've created for this series, in the power of now. Just this very single moment in time. That's where everything happens. And it goes on. I have another 9, and I don't want to read them all off here because I'm going to save that for what I'm going to be doing next over the next period of months, which is my public speaking venues. Now, I was going to be doing public speaking venues anyway, but it looks as though I'm going to get a nice ease into it with the help of two brand new beautiful friends, which I'm going to tell you all about at a later date when I have everything kind of ironed out and they've worked with me and we've worked with each other to come up with something that works. And at that point, I'll fill you in. But it was my initial intention to get out there and travel America and maybe the world, talking about all the stuff that I have talked about, anecdotes of my life, things that have happened to me, some beautiful things, some tragic things, some mystical, magical stuff, more of a cross between Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, and Greg Braden types of talks, where the mystical meets the science, meets the magical, meets life. Yeah, I think, with my take, with my energy that I can bring to something like this, I could speak for hours as it stands, but whether it's intelligible at this moment in time, I'm not sure. So what I've been doing is working on a rough storyboard for everything, a rough script for all, let's say, to really help pave the way for something that truly makes sense. And I'm working on some PowerPoints and what have you. But right now, the first and foremost is my website. So that's getting all up and running. Inner Flame. That's INNERFLA.me. Inner Flame. So that's number one. Number two is finishing up my cards, the instruction book, the workbook, and the audio CD. So I finished a whole bunch of audio tracks. I have 4 more to write and 4 more to create as far as the cards. And once it's all done, that's going to be my first set of products. And those really are to bolster and to back up the speaks that I'm doing, the speaking events, the speaks, the talks, the speaking events that I'm doing by myself. And I'll tell you about what's happening with the joint venture, hopefully the next podcast. And right after I've finished working on the cards, I'm then going to expand the card scenario and I'm going to finish the book. So I'm going to take the audio from the cards and I'm going to turn that into a book, because the audio section I've already written. So if I put that into book format and add another, say, 2,000 words per chapter for the 12 chapters, I'll end up with a decent sized book to begin. It'd be a story of growth, of progression, of change. And I'm still working on a name for that. But I'll actually, as I'm talking, a name just popped into my head. So I'm writing this down. I put question mark. So I'll look at that. So, yeah, lots going on, and it's just, it's fantastic. I remember one of the very first podcasts I recorded, how fantastic would it be if I could do this for a living? And it really, truly, for the first time in my life, I feel as though I have the grasp of something that it could possibly turn into a living. Not that any major network would snap me up and this and that, but I feel I can stir up enough of my own business to make it so. But I don't want to put the kibosh on it by saying I couldn't be snapped up, because for the right price, anything's possible. So yeah, it's all happening. It's all so exciting. So Thursday at noon, I'm going to go along. I'm going to get some new snapshots. I'm going to take some new photographs with my lovely camera for the website. I've got a lot of photoshopping to do and a lot of creating. So just some real exciting stuff going on. And I'm glad that you're here watching it from the inception, really. This is quite something that I'm kind of documenting in a loose sort of way, seeming that I haven't recorded a podcast in many months, 4 or 5 months or more, like 6 months. Wow, I'd have to look. Crazy long time. Got to do a better job. So anyway, I'm not sure if over time the name of the podcast may change, but for now, I'll keep it as it is, and yeah, see where it all goes. So I'm so excited to introduce to you what's going to be happening, but I can't do that right yet. So I think for now, I'm going to keep this short but sweet, end it here, unless something pops into my head that, hey, I need to let you know. It's been over 45 minutes, so I might as well wrap it up here and do a gentle ease back into the swing of things. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. And please tune in again this time next week. I'm gonna aim to do one weekly. How about that? I'm just gonna say now I'm gonna do it weekly. That's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. So on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, please follow me. It's at A Jones Soul Pilot. At A Jones Soul Pilot. AJONESSOULPILOT. A Jones Soul Pilot. So that's it. Follow me, and I'll follow you back, of course. I've got to write out a whole new bunch of tweets because I've run out of tweets. I wrote out 19 the other day, and I put them into my program, because what I do is I have a program. I type all my tweets up, I put them into the program will tweet 4, 5, 7 tweets a day, and then if anyone responds, I respond back in person and what have you. So that's kind of a nice way to do it, but it means you got to take time out to write all your tweets. I don't like using tweets that other people have posted, so I do like to write original stuff that only I've said. So keep your eye out, check them out, follow me back, and I'll follow you. And if you haven't done so, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame.
It's me. I was just wondering I should call you. If you would like to talk to Mom, here she is. I was just calling you. I hope you were here. I hope you're here. We're going out to dinner, but we'll be home later. You can call us on our cell, 973-879. Bye.
Facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame.